It's another day live at the Waterhole. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and I will be your host for the next 3 hours, where I'm really looking forward to chatting to all of you today. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, you know what to do. If this is your first time, then I'll tell you what you can do. You can either comment on the YouTube chat, or you can head over to the WildEarth website and use the question box that is available. We are currently looking at this wonderful live camera, which is situated in Kenya, in Old Donyo, which is basically on a private concession, if you will, that's over 100,000 hectares of pristine wilderness. We've got a Thompson's gazelle. Just one of them. Grant's gazelles, which often you can get confused with, they're much larger and they don't have that big dark black stripe along their bodies. Their horns are also quite big. Bush Barbie, this is actually something that a couple of us safari guides and nature enthusiasts talk about. Do I ever wonder how certain herbivores would be as carnivores? It is crazy, the in-depth discussions that we have had late at night around the fire. It's actually quite funny. And just imagine, it's now you can obviously see why it is so important that we do have more herbivores, more prey species, if you will, and a lower amount of carnivores, because there'd be a huge imbalance in the ecosystem. So sometimes we see lions and other cat species and even hyenas ingesting grass, right? But we know that that's not necessarily for them to eat, but rather to encourage regurgitation. Although maybe wild dogs, because obviously maybe wild dogs might munch on it. Some of the jackal species, they're also omnivores, but they might prefer to eat fruit. Anyways, but imagine a little Thompson's gazelle like this, right? Like a pocket rocket. Would they stalk cheetah? The tables would turn, because obviously Thompson's gazelle is one of the favorite animals for cheetah to hunt. That would be really funny. Cheetahs would have to adapt to climbing trees more frequently. They do climb trees, but not like leopards do. They'll often go up them to just to scan their surroundings. Lots of people say cheetah don't climb trees until you see them up in a big tree, and they definitely don't fly up there. So to just avoid all the antelope species or gazelle down on the ground. Can you imagine that? All the big cats, in fact, would have to just adapt very well. And then also to climbing rocks. But then you better be careful, because then you get an antelope called a klipspringer, and they live up on rocks. They're also small and can be quite feisty. So actually no one will be safe. I suppose it's the same thing for the herbivores. So you're wondering, how do elephants remember where the water is? Good question. The elephant's sense of smell is unbelievable. And they can smell it up water from many kilometers away. And because elephants are so intelligent and they live in these family groups, the older elephants that have traveled extensively also know where their water will be. And they can even remember from different times of the year when it was very, very dry, where they were still able to find water. So that information gets passed down from like the grandmothers. And all the elephants learn that. But another thing that elephants can do, if there's no water holes like this, is they'll head down towards the big rivers, and even if the sandy riverbeds are dry, they're able to dig. Can you believe that? They use their tusks to loosen the soil, they use their trunks and their feet, a combination kind of all three, and will dig these little wells. And normally the groundwater fills those holes, and they don't have to dig too deep. But they'll be able to smell where the water table is at its highest. goodness, look! Egyptian geese goslings. Oh, they're so sweet. One of my favorite things about them, and I don't know if you'll all be able to see this too, is when they turn their backs towards us, you'll see they've got very striking white, two white spots, and they look like baby orcas. You have to use your imagination, but we'll see if you can get a closer view again, and you can tell me if you agree. You see that? Look at those faces. Well, not their faces, but the white spots in the back of their bodies. And I wonder if this is potentially a defense mechanism because it does kind of look like a face. So maybe to some predators, it could look like that the little goslings are actually looking towards them. You see a lot of animals that do that, and insects that have these almost false eyes. Another bird species you see it on is a pearl-spotted owlet. As you can see on the map, Rosie's Pan is also part of the Greater Kruger National Park, but just lies in the outskirts. Hello, elephant bull. Gonna have a drink, I'm sure. Very casual about it. Oh, it's too cold. Can't put my trunk in there. I wonder how much the temperature of the water affects the elephants from, going in. Obviously, you don't see elephants swimming very often during the peak of winter. But then again, I've also seen them swimming in winter, so I wonder. You see how everybody's moving away from that bull on the right, giving him space as he pushes on through to have a drink. Look at them. Those that look like sound like the cows that are just vocalizing how frustrated they are with what's going on around where the pump is. Dreamwild, I think everybody can agree with you. I've just said that there have been plenty of elephants. And you also love how this day has gone. Me too. We see some nice quiet moments, just enjoying. But we have seen some really interesting behaviors today. And we will, of course, be on the lookout for more every single day. But sadly, I've only got 2 more shows. Hopefully, there'll be more of you watching on the weekend. So I look forward to engaging with all of you. But it's time for me to say goodbye. So until tomorrow, I'll see you soon.